Today, more than 50% of Americans either own or work for a small business. And as the COO of PayPal, Bill Ready has one overarching ambition: to create simple and effective financial tools to help small businesses scale and reach their goals. To date, PayPal has loaned more than $6 billion in their working capital program to help deliver access to funding and to continue to deliver innovative solutions for small businesses to excel in today's ever-changing market. Bill has a very personal passion for small business, and he is here to share what he and PayPal are doing to continue to empower the Main Street business owners. Everyone, Bill Ready. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Happy show.
All right. Good afternoon. It's great to be here with all of you. It's pretty remarkable to think how much this conference has grown. Feels like not that long ago I was here for the very first Money 2020, then as CEO of Braintree and Venmo. And over the last 6 years, not only has this conference grown tremendously, the whole industry has grown tremendously. You look around, you see so many people have built great businesses together over the last several years. And it really is a testament to the fact that the digital economy has created tremendous opportunities for many. And everybody here has helped to build that and is really evidence of that tremendous opportunity. However, the benefits of digitization have not been evenly distributed. And it's visible everywhere you look that there are many in our country and around the world that feel left out. You often hear us speak about how we're increasing access to the digital economy for underserved or unbanked consumers. And that's some 30 million people in the US and more than 3 billion around the world. However, today, I'm going to talk to you about the other side of the ecosystem, merchants, and in particular, small businesses, and what we can all do to help them thrive in a digital economy. There are approximately 30 million businesses, small businesses here in the US, and many tens of millions more around the world. And those small businesses account for over 60% of job growth, and they're truly the engine of our economy. And while digitization has opened many opportunities for small businesses, from local restaurants to makers and creators to new types of small businesses like DoorDashers and Airbnb hosts and Uber drivers, more than 50% of small businesses are still locked in the physical world, even though consumers are turning to the digital world for their needs. And every day, you see the uneven benefits of digitization with major retailers going bankrupt and countless storefronts closing. But what's less visible is that many small businesses are hurting just as badly. And on top of that, today's financial infrastructure wasn't designed for small businesses. We talk to thousands of our small business partners each year, and we know that when we open the digital economy for them, we can help them create more opportunities, jobs, and growth. However, even though we're helping over 20 million businesses all over the globe, most of them small businesses, I know we still aren't doing enough to put the right hands and the right tools in the hands of the people who need it the most. I know that because before I was COO of PayPal, before I was CEO of Braintree and Venmo, and before I was a serial entrepreneur, I grew up in a small business. From the time I was 10 years old until I went off to college, I worked in my parents' auto repair shop in a small little town in Kentucky. And that's where I learned some of my most valuable lessons about what it means to take care of customers. Lessons I've carried with me in every business I've built since. And when I go back there to that business, and when I talk to small business owners all across the US, all around the world, especially those that aren't yet participating in the digital economy, I know I'm not doing enough, and there's so much more to be done. There's a real opportunity for all of us, not just PayPal, our whole industry, to do well by doing good. And I can't emphasize it enough. Small businesses create around 60% of jobs. In the US alone, we're talking about 56 million employees that we can impact. But we know we can't do it alone. And in fact, PayPal's made some of those mistakes before. PayPal used to be a bit of a closed platform, and PayPal was hesitant about partnerships, but not anymore. We've opened our platform. We've been on a journey to connect with other industry leaders in technology and financial services. And we've seen it accelerate our own growth and that of our partners. More importantly, we've seen what we can do for small businesses around the world. US small businesses using PayPal grow at 23% year over year, while traditional businesses see around 8% growth. And we can do more with your help. Businesses of all sizes should have the tools to let them thrive in their local and broader communities. And they can do that if we come together and create solutions that increase access and level the playing field for merchants of all sizes. So how do we do that? One of the benefits of the digital economy is that customers aren't limited to people in the neighborhood or city, maybe not even the country that they're in. And the first thing that has to be done is to improve small business access to customers in a digital world. Technology has given a small business the ability to reach an expanded, geographically diverse customer base. So many people are looking globally for unique goods and deals that cross-border shopping is expected to make up 20% of all e-commerce in the next 5 years. And for PayPal, it's already 20% of our business. But for every small business who's found a way to reach new customers, there are 10 more small businesses like the one I grew up in, where customers still walk in the door every day. It's only about 9% of small businesses and 16% of medium-sized businesses in low-income countries that sell online. And the digital economy can do more to help those small businesses connect with customers. Also, the needs and desires of that customer base has shifted. Customers expect brands to engage with them where they are, and that often means online, on mobile, as well as new contexts like social. 48% of consumers said they would consider not buying from a business if it didn't have a website. And that's concerning because approximately 50% of small businesses still don't have a website. Half of small businesses aren't even in the game. Small businesses across the country are missing out on a major opportunity to reach customers. And those customer needs also extend to mobile. Even though 48% of consumers say they shop on a mobile device at least once a week, 1/3 of the e-commerce businesses admit they still don't have a mobile-friendly website. And of course, those shifting customer needs include payments. We know of a tennis coach in Germany who wasn't able to collect payment immediately from his clients because, well, who takes a wallet full of cash to the courts? But you know what people never forget to take with them? Their phones. And it's not an isolated example. Our P2P business that's $30 billion plus in volume every quarter is largely driven by these types of small businesses engaging in person-to-person transactions. And yes, alternative forms of payments are on the rise as well. And some small businesses are figuring it out, but not all small businesses have access to those. And even when small businesses do figure out how to reach customers and meet their ever-changing needs in a digital environment, there's still the question of trust. How do we give small businesses and customers a sense of security and trust when they're transacting in a social media platform or an online marketplace? How does a buyer know they'll really get what they paid for? And how does a seller know they aren't getting scammed by a buyer they've never met? It shouldn't matter how a small business meets a customer, face-to-face like my parents' business, or online or in a social platform like so many businesses today. We're working with dozens of partners that help connect small businesses to the new ways they can sell. We want to partner with everyone, from our established partnerships with Google and Facebook, all the way to our more recent partnerships with American Express and Walmart. We can create seamless transactions that are safe and secure, and we're just beginning to help bridge that trust. When more tech platforms and retail partners come together, we can reduce another friction point for small businesses. And once we've created that trust for a single transaction, we have to find a way to help small businesses maintain that trust throughout their relationship with their customers. One of the differentiators for a small business is they know their customers better than most large enterprises by far. And not only that, small businesses care deeply for their customers because they see them as real people, not as an aggregated data point. My parents knew their customers' names, their kids' names, they're part of a community. For small businesses, business is personal. I learned that lesson the hard way when I just started high school. I've been working in my parents' auto repair business for a few years by that point. Child labor laws in Kentucky aren't sort of the top concerns, so had been doing that for a while. But it was the first time that my parents made me go explain my work to a customer. They made me do that because I'd made a mistake. a mistake that was going to cause a farmer to not have his truck for several days, a truck that he needed for his livelihood, to feed his family. And I'll never forget having to face him, knees knocking, lump in my throat, to tell him what I'd done and explaining what I was going to do to fix it, to make it right by him. It was a hard lesson for a 14-year-old, but I knew then and would never forget just how much customers matter, especially for small businesses. Small businesses form deep relationships with their customers, and because of that, they're able to provide high-touch experiences that better serve their customers, and that often leads to more repeat business. And it's something that consumers are seeking out more and more. Millennials value experiences over things, and there's a broad phenomenon of consumers looking for the unique, the undiscovered, not just what's sold to the mass market. And that should be a natural strength for small business. We must find ways to help small businesses maintain that relationship in the digital world, so customers don't see themselves as just another data point. And when you look at the places where small businesses are finding ways to connect digitally, places like Instagram and social forums, they're using those forums to really connect with customers, to show that they care about those individual customers. And in addition to solving for trust between buyers and small businesses, there's a major issue to address with how small businesses get their money in a digital environment. Although technology has made getting access to customers faster, it's made getting access to your money slower. I'm going to say that again. The technology's gotten faster, but the money's gotten slower. Years ago, it used to be that once a small business provided a good or a service, their customers would pay them in cash, and that money would go right into their pockets. But that's not how it works today. Today, money's tied up in the digital world. SMBs often get the money from a digital sale several days or even weeks later. That doesn't make any sense. The technology should be making it easier to get your money, not harder. I can tell you firsthand just how important that access to money is for a small business. Growing up, the question of what's for dinner was directly tied to the question of how did the business do this week. Immediate access to money is critical for small businesses. They're already trying to figure out how to compete in a world of huge online retailers and shifting consumer preferences. But the digital economy often has their money held hostage. And that creates problems for inventory, how to pay employees, and how to put food on the table. We need to make it so that small businesses can receive digital payments the same way they would with cash, immediately. We've started down that road ourselves. With Funds Now, we've helped over 1 million small businesses have access to their money within seconds, regardless of how a customer pays. And we're committed to finding solutions with others, so we're making Funds Now available so that people can get paid faster no matter where they sell online. We want small businesses to be able to sell anywhere that they can find a customer and know they're going to get paid safely and securely. And there are millions of small businesses out there that would benefit from better solutions. We can make sure that small businesses have better and faster access to their money, which means more job creation, more innovation, and a more diverse ecosystem. We all win that way. Now, as anybody who's ever built a business can tell you, the very best money comes from customers. But sometimes you need more than that. That's why we need to improve access to capital for small businesses as well. Normally, when a small business would need access to more capital, they go to the bank for a loan. But the context has changed. 30 years ago, that loan would be secured by physical assets, like it was for my parents. But now, in a digital world, there aren't always physical assets to lend against, especially if we're talking about a services business. And most lenders are used to dealing with businesses who have a brick and mortar presence or a history of success. It's tough for entrepreneurs and small businesses. It's a great example not too far from here in Arizona, Forward Printing, which is a t-shirt printing business owned by Dan Corcoran. And when the economy softened, he was worried about paying his 12 employees, his landlord, his vendors. And he decided to get a business loan to help stay afloat and to keep his dream alive. But after hours of filling out traditional loan applications, he was denied. And since he was already using PayPal for invoicing and payments, he turned to us for a small business loan. And because we already had access to all his information and insight into his business and his customers, he was approved in 30 seconds. It was easy for him to get access that he needed. It was secure. He trusted PayPal, and the money was in his bank account when he needed it the most. The traditional system doesn't always work for people like Dan, and it's not an isolated incident. In fact, the number of traditional bank loans declined 15% between 2005 and 2016. And it's not that banks don't want to lend. They're in the business of lending. It's what they want to do. The problem is that the kind of information they need to make lending decisions is different than it used to be. The context has changed. When we partner with banks, we can connect digital solutions with financial institutions, and we can bring that capital to small businesses who need it. And we already help more than 170,000 businesses globally receive more than $6 billion in loans. And as we look to continue helping small businesses across the globe, we know we can't do it alone. We know it's going to take all of us to empower Main Street. After all, a vibrant small business ecosystem contributes to a more diverse and inclusive world. And together, we can make sure that access to capital isn't a barrier to entrepreneurs and their dreams. In the last 2 startups I built, my customers were other businesses. I've gotten to see so many stories about how people struggle, just like my parents did, who still have their business in Kentucky, by the way. And I also get to hear success stories. Some of those are big success stories, like the Ubers and Airbnb and Dropboxes of the world that built on our platform, but others are smaller success stories, like the mother in Australia who started an online business making dolls to help take care of her children. And there's millions more of those. It's inspiring. And I want us to work together to make more stories like that. We're at a moment in time where we can finally put the same tech and capabilities in the hands of all businesses, regardless of their size. But there are still hard problems left for us to solve, for all of us to solve. There's problems with logistics, fulfillment, fraud. No one single entity or business will be able to manage it all, and we shouldn't expect them to. Nearly all the best customer experiences are composites of many things working together. If you look at one of the best consumer experiences to come about in the last decade, Uber didn't just connect drivers and riders. It combined smartphones, telecommunication networks, geospatial technology, and multiple payment providers to bring consumers into the equation. Those types of great consumer experiences are almost always composites of many things working together. But despite that, discussions in our industry too frequently start with the question, who owns the customer? Now, I don't know if anybody in this room has ever asked a customer who owns them, but if you did, I'm quite certain you wouldn't like the response you would get. Customers want great experiences, and those great experiences are provided by many working together. We've certainly been guilty of those types of behaviors in the past, but we've opened our platform. We want to work with others. The potential for us to work together to revamp the infrastructure has never been greater, and we're committed to making it easy for you to partner with us. Over the past 2 years, we've forged 40+ partnerships, coming together to solve problems that merchants and consumers face. We can create those types of hassle-free experiences for merchants and customers by collaborating, listening, learning, and solving problems together. As an industry, we're at a moment where we decide whether we leave fire trapped atop the mountain in the hands of the privileged few, such that great digital commerce capabilities are the exclusive domain of only the very largest online retailers, or do we work together to bring fire down from the mountain and give it to the masses, such that great digital commerce capabilities are the tools and building blocks that an entire ecosystem will use to create, to thrive, to innovate. When I think about the world I want to wake up in a decade, I don't want there to be only one place to go buy things online. I want to wake up in a world where there's a thriving retail ecosystem with many small businesses, and not just a few, millions of them. I'm committed to that future. PayPal's committed to that future. And we're committed to working with all of you to make that future a reality. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. That was awesome. Really good. What an awesome session by Bill then. So inspiring. You can tell he's been on this stage a number of times.